How's it going, my brothers and my sisters of the Arana Nation? This is your man, Michael Arana, and today I want to talk about the fact that a bunch of different countries recently signed the UN Migration Compact, and the consequences that means for all freedom-loving, populist nationalists around the Western world. Now, what the UN Migration Compact is, as a lot of you know, is so-called non-binding agreement where countries will agree to allow many different people into their country. It doesn't matter where they come from, vetting, all this other stuff. They're mandated, they're expected to allow people into their borders without permission. It is a disgrace. And what makes it even worse is that in this agreement, it penalizes people who criticize migration and the Migration Compact. Now, that's the part that's got me riled up right now, and that's the part that should get you riled up as well. Because what that means is that not only are we forced to allow people in our borders without our permission, this is our country, and we want people to come into our country under our terms. But the United Nations is now telling us that if we criticize this, we can be penalized. Not necessarily arrested, but shamed, criticized, and penalized. Which, in my opinion, there is no difference. You're treading on my freedom, and that's not right, and I'm going to fight you. Now, I have said in the past, because, we know that the Yellow Vest movement has gained steam in Canada. And I've said that in order to keep ourselves serious, we can't just come to rallies and talk about the UN Migration Compact. And I still believe that. There are many different problems in Canada that we Canadians need to stand up against and speak about and protest about. There are many other issues we have to talk about. However, I'm going to do a slight 180 here. Because when the world government and when the New World Order elites and when the globalists and when this government run by the long-haired Mac Daddy son of Satan, Justin Trudeau, whom I despise, tell me I shouldn't do something, I do the exact opposite. When they say, don't criticize migration, don't criticize immigration, don't criticize what we're trying to do, I'm going to do just that. And you better believe it. And if they want to come and arrest me, if they want to come and kill me, if they want to come and beat me up and torture me, I say, come at me, bro. So what I want everyone to do is go ahead and protest the UN Migration Compact. Y'all got it. Protest it and protest it well. And protest it so people can see you and be forced to pay attention to you. Yes, I still say we need to talk about other things. There are many things in Canada which are screwing Canadians right now. Foreign corporations come into Canada and decimating our communities. Tax hikes, carbon taxes, expenses, it's going downhill. Native Canadians, Aboriginal Canadians, First Nations Canadians living with poisonous drinking water while the long-haired Mac Daddy son of Satan gives billions upon billions of our tax dollars to other countries. Veterans who serve their country and serve their country well, who have problems in their everyday life, who are refused and denied help only for that taxpayer money that they so need going to people like Omar Khadr, that dog who killed 2 American soldiers. That is disgusting. I am appalled. That is outrageous, and I'm going to fight against all those things. But I dare the police state, I dare the police, I dare law enforcement, I dare anybody who's willing to take us on to come at us. We're going to protest the United Nations Migration Compact, and we're going to criticize migration, and we're going to demand that anybody who comes into our country on our terms. Now, I've said this, that I welcome immigration. I come from parents who came to Canada as immigrants. Anybody who is against immigrants is dead in my eyes. They're a snake. You should go to hell. I curse you with every disease known to man. I curse you with AIDS. I curse you with sickle cell anemia. I curse you with pain. I curse you with everything. If you're a racist and you don't like immigrants, then I curse you and I hope you burn in hell. But I come from a family of immigrants. I'm born in Canada to immigrant parents. I have nothing against immigrants. However, number one, you need to come to Canada legally. If you come here illegally, I don't care what's going on in your country. I don't care if you're going through a food shortage or weather terrorist attack. I don't care. Dictatorship. You come to our country legally. That's number one. Number two, if you come to Canada, you have to be able to support yourself. I cannot accept people coming to Canada and living on a welfare system. You can't get even free healthcare. You have to know how to get insurance. You have to be able to work. You have to be able to support yourself 100%. That's number two. And number three, you have to know how to speak either English or French fluently. And I mean fluently. And when I say know it, you have to know it when you come here. You can't come to Canada and we have to spend millions of dollars training you and teaching you how to speak English or French or, spending money on courses and on language tests and everything. If you don't know how to speak English and French fluently, then you can't come here. And that's most of the world. All of Africa, with the exception of Egypt and Libya, knows English or French. All of the Caribbean is English and French. But we don't have a responsibility to teach the world English or French. We have to save the money for our people. I'm a populist nationalist when it comes to that. So those are my three criteria for people coming into the country. Other than that, you are more than welcomed in my country as long as you like Canadian values. Now, with that being said, I don't discriminate against anyone. Just like you have no right to come here just because you're white, because many people think that, being Canadian means being white. That's BS to me. I'm a Canadian and I'm black. And by the way, natives were here before anybody, so they're hella Canadian. And not only that, but black people were brought to Canada as slaves from Africa. They did, and that's history. You can look it up. I can't remember the first slave who came to Canada, but I think he came from Madagascar. So as far as I'm concerned, a black person who was either born in Canada or who comes to Canada legally and responsibly is very welcome here. But I don't discriminate against anyone, even Muslims or anything. Yes, we disagree on Islam, but you know what? I don't discriminate against people coming here. But we should have a right to come to this country. We should have a right to determine who comes into our country, and that goes for all countries. So I say screw it to the United Nations, but I don't just say screw it to the United Nations because they didn't force us to sign this. I say screw it to our government. Screw it to the long-haired Mac Daddy Justin Trudeau. He needs to go, and he needs to go now. And the only way that he's going to go is if conservatives unite and unite properly. None of this splitting business, but we have to unite to fight the face of evil, and we have to do it now. This is the Arana Nation.